Very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us tonight for the first edition of the show for the week. It promises to be exciting. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, as usual in the world of sports, there's a lot to talk about. Tonight will not be any different. There's a lot to talk about. In England, the FA Cup currently going on the domestic scene. The league management company has taken some disciplinary decisions. We'll talk about that as we move on the show tonight. We spare a thought for volleyball, spare a thought for basketball on the domestic scene, as well as the D-Tigers prepare for the Afrobasket Qualifiers. We'll talk about all of that for you on the show. As we move on as well, we will talk about Super Eagles coach Gernot Rohr. What has he been saying? What has he been up to recently? Tonight, you will listen to Coach Gernot Rohr bear his mind, speak on what a lot of people have been commending, talking about the coverage of the Nigeria Professional Football League, how everyone all across the globe getting to see those matches, and it's already changing a lot of impression, changing the impression a lot of people have about the game on the domestic scene now that they can see those games anywhere they are in any part of the world. We'll also talk about the first Grand Slam of the year. We'll analyze day 2 at the Australian Open down under. Talk about what's happening right there, the big name casualties, and also the top stars trudging on. We'll talk about all of that. So that's the outlook of the show tonight. Hopefully later on I will be joined by my partners as we try to take you on this journey across the money-spinning world of sports, and hopefully it's going to be worth your while tonight. So I urge you to sit back, relax, and enjoy what's on offer tonight. Okay, so let me bring you into all that we're doing on the show today. Tonight, we're going to start the show talking about the National Sports Festival. It's going to set the tone for everything we're doing tonight. Like some people have said, the moment we feared most has come upon us, and we're going to talk about it. The postponement was kept secret. We knew it was going to happen. Eventually, it did. We're going to be looking at the impact of that decision conveyed to us by the sports minister, Sunday Diary. We're going to look at it. But first, you want to join us tonight. Tonight is the day you want to say some things. You can send us a mail, sports tonight, channelstv.com, and let us know how you feel. Facebook, Channel 7 Sports. Then on Twitter, that verified handle, we always talk about @channels_sports. Go there. Let us know how you feel about all of this issue. Probably there's something I left out. You can also remind us of those things and let us talk about it. Let's make it a fun-filled show tonight as we crisscross the land of bread of the sporting world to look at all of the things happening right there. All right, to set the tone for the show tonight, let's listen to the sports minister, Sunday Diary, tell us what we feared was going to happen the moment we heard the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, reveal to us the situation concerning the games. It took a while, but we got to the point where it became official, and we heard it, so to speak, from the horse's mouth. So let's listen to the sports minister once again, explain everything to us, and we look at the impact of all that he has said.
All along, we had worked very closely with the PTF, inclusive of the NCDC. We've made several trips, the Ministry of Health, to Edo State to check the preparedness. And even though Edo State is prepared, the infrastructures, sporting infrastructure are in place, the COVID-19 infrastructure in place, we're mindful of the COVID-19 second wave. And of course, the issue of the cost implication of the postponement. So it's been decided that the sports festival will still hold, but no longer starts this 14th of February. A futuristic date in April will be announced, and again, will be properly guided. The sports festival, I must emphasize, is Nigeria's version of the Olympics. So it's really important. This is an Olympic year. We're barely 4-5 months to the Olympic. We pick some of our top athletes, our young athletes, from the sports festival. So in an Olympic year, holding such a sports festival is inescapable. But again, we're properly guided, and we hope and pray that in April we can bring this festival on. It's also important because over 14,000 of those involved are the youth, the young people. Some of them, for over 1 year, have remained inactive without any source of revenue. And we think that being able to hold this sports festival will keep our youth busy, will also help them to showcase their talent, and also give them the opportunity for podium performance on the global stage when we have the Olympics, which is the biggest single sporting event in the world.
All right, I just felt like a low blow, but I wouldn't say that we weren't expecting that. It was always going to happen, but now it's official. Sports Ministry, Edo State, federal government, looking at the dates within April for all of this to be held. One critical takeaway is that all parties involved want the competition to be held. Logistics and some other things put paid to it being held in February. But if there's anything positive you can take away is the fact that all the critical stakeholders still want to see this done. So hopefully we'll get to see the National Sports Festival before the Olympics. And I hope it doesn't suffer any other postponement. All right. Of course, let me introduce my partners on the show. We've gotten to that point, of course, to introduce my partners on the show tonight. Kehinde Idris makes a return to the show. He wasn't around last week, but he's here with me tonight. Kehinde, it's good to have you join me on the show. Like I said, we anticipated this.
Yep.
We knew it was going to happen, especially when there was pin drop silence as regards to what was going on. We knew it was going to get this, and it got to that point.
It got to that point, and I guess good evening, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
And I guess it felt, yes, we're trying to manage, we're trying to see if there is any way, there is a window to how we can just bring in the sports festival amidst everything happening. Now, all of this has a lot to do with the COVID that is on ground. Because like you know, if there was no COVID, I think it was like 3-4 days to the event, to the festival that was canceled. A whole lot of athletes were already in competition mode, tourney mode, till, you know, it got it canceled. And it put a lot of them in some, you know, very, very sour points. They had to, you know, you already conditioned yourself. You have to uncondition yourself to, it's a whole lot. Now look at this. The Edo State came out with funding and all of that. And we understand Edo State has put in more than enough all the way, you know, building up to now. And they are saying, please, we're not asking for...
You know, we're going to get all of that. I like the fact that you're giving us a timeline of everything that's happened. Even though tonight on the show, I really like us to focus not on the how and why it happened, but on the implication. But I also like the fact that you're putting the timeline
just how we got to this point.
How we got to this point. I like that. But let's quickly also get the thoughts of Austin on all of this. Austin Okona-Akpan, our man, right there in London. Greetings to you, Austin. Thanks for joining us on the show. You're listening to the sports minister. What's kept secret? We knew it was always going to happen, and we feared this moment. But now it's upon us. So your thoughts? Like I said, I don't want us to dwell too much on whose fault it was, how it got here, why it happened. But I just want us to look at the implication of this decision as it has happened.
Sporty greetings, Yemi, and of course to our viewers. It's good to be on the show. Yes, right after that National Council of Sports meeting, which is of course headed by the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dari, it was announced that the National Sports Festival will be postponed again. And I had to reach out to the minister to really find out what's going on, because first the silence wasn't good for the build up to the competition. But you've asked about implications, and one on the list is financial implications, because a lot of investment has gone down the drain. A lot of money has disappeared. You know, look at the accommodation, for instance, at Uniben. Almost ₦1 billion, almost ₦1 billion gone, you know. And then they're not telling you a futuristic date. They're telling you a futuristic date when in April. When? In April, So these are the implications. So athletes now can take their minds away. They've been disappointed over and over and over again. But I heard the minister say that it would be good to have it. Edo State Deputy Governor, who is also the chairman of the LOC, says it will be good to have it. Edo wants to have it. But it seems it's not just coming. It's not just happening. And that's really not good, because we're hoping that we're going to use it as a warm-up window to the Olympics. Now it's looking like that's not going to happen again, because by April, if I'm a top coach, I'm not going to let my athletes be going to the National Sports Festival if he or she will feature at the Olympics. It's quite sad, but I agree that now we have to just sit back, put on a reflection mode, don't blame anyone, and first understand that we are facing the harsh reality, growing uncertainty that COVID-19 has brought to sporting activities in Nigeria. Some people have called me and they're saying, oh, we are playing football, we're doing this, we're doing that, why can't we have the National Sports Festival? It's not the same. And so with this second wave, I knew it was going to be very, very difficult to have the National Sports Festival, and this is where we are with it.
All right, so this is where we are. Kennedy, it's your turn now. Austin has listed what he feels are the implications. For you, what are the implications? We're already hearing stories from different states about the plight of the athletes. Yeah. It's not something that is pleasing.
Also, got to see and heard some from Lagos State, how these athletes want to compete. These athletes have not done anything in a very long while. I guess
They've put their lives on hold.
Yes, since 2019. And they just want a semblance of this. And also, most of our athletes, the bargain is you get to competition and then you get some things.
So they see that
yes, as you're not doing anything, you're not getting anything. Now, let's leave finance and whatever it has to do with finance. If the sports festival were to hold on was to start on February 14, which was supposed to be on Sunday, we're talking of a period where COVID-19 tests must be presented. You all must do your test, and also there will be quarantine. We knew from, say, like Sunday, if nobody had been quarantined at that period,
that date wasn't going to be visible.
It wasn't going to be visible. Because at least, if you guys are managing anything at all, at least 10 days.
About health and
safety. At least 10 days, all of the athletes should have brought in their COVID-19 test and then in a bubble. Okay. That would have given us a semblance. But up until the pronouncement yesterday, Monday, no athletes had even got into Edo State. Talk more of getting to be in a bubble, submitting your... So with that COVID angle alone, we knew we were getting to a point where there will be cancellation. But as of yesterday morning, I still gave, this benefit of doubt that this team who are in charge, the LOC, in charge of the Edo 2020, know what they are doing. And maybe there is something we're not knowing that they are doing. And then they will just... But eventually, when the postponement pronunciation came, we knew, we saw everything, we knew everything. There was nothing hidden. So if this are not in place, then this is the possible result, and the result is here.
All right. Let me go to Austin. I spoke with a colleague today, and he took the news, like they say, probably with a pinch of salt, and he says it doesn't even see it happening in April. Doesn't see it happening in April. So, I mean, we've looked at the implications, but I want to ask you your opinion, your thoughts on all of these things. Do you see the sports festival happening in April? Just your thoughts. I'm not saying that you should become a prophet of doom or anything, but just your thoughts with the science and everything all around us. Is it visible? You also talked about if you've been a coach, you probably tell your athletes, just forget about this so that you can do well in the next 3 months, which is going to be the Olympics. So your thoughts, you think it's going to happen, or, I mean, we should just start looking at the Olympics?
Happen, I've been trained on this job to always give attribution. So let me attribute what the minister said to me when I spoke with him. He says they want it to happen and that it's going to happen, but it's very difficult seeing this thing happening. If COVID-19 doesn't go, then I seriously doubt that the National Sports Festival is going to happen. That's the harsh reality
Plain
that
and
COVID-19
simple.
has dumped on us. So that's it. That's what it is. It's going to be very, very difficult because now it's not about a concern. But aside the concern, Edo is saying we've spent so much money, we need help. For instance, the ministry gave the request for financial assistance to the presidency. The presidency cannot jump up and give you loads of money in 1 week. And that was why they had to cancel now. And they didn't even consider COVID at that time. Idris talked about keeping everybody in a bubble, but I keep saying it. I've covered sports in Nigeria so much to know that it is difficult to gather persons to do sports in Nigeria, and then you don't struggle with crowd. It is very, very difficult. I don't just know why we've not been able to achieve that orderliness. So there's this fear that, okay, even if you say you bring 7,000 athletes, how are you going to control it? Athletes alone, not coaches, not physio, not stadium workers.
Let me butt in, Austin. What about if we bring them in phases? It still could work because that was a plan initially. Everybody's not going to be together at the same time.
Point here, me, and that means we were thinking, but it's still difficult. Because you were worried about the level of competition, weren't you? So when you start bringing them in phases, and you know something about athletes, oh, this person defeated me at the last National Sports Festival, I took my stuff, and then you hear that guy is in phase 3. And then you start thinking, oh, they are doing politics, so he will not compete with me and go on to it. It was going to be difficult because it was an issue of structure. Yes, COVID-19 has made us start thinking, okay, can we do the phases? Can we be able to do this and do that and do that? But we were also trying to keep credibility. We're trying to make it competitive. So some of these plannings were difficult. But we are where we are now. And let's just hope that April, we're going to have it.
Okay, all right. Let me go to this. There are some dates being thrown around. Yeah. No official seal on it.
No official.
I'm already seeing April 8th, 22. I don't know if you've seen anything like that.
I've seen a couple.
Been thrown around. But I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Austin. Your informed opinion from your sources that I know you won't reveal. Yeah. Do you think it's going to happen?
I'm scared, really. I'm scared. Today is 9th of February.
Yep.
We're talking of finance. And with the body language of the ministry, which represents the federal government, there are no signs that funds are going to come in anytime soon. Okay. That scares me. I don't know if they have their plan, in their coffers that we're not hearing of yet. But as of, where I'm seated or where I'm standing, looking at what I can see, I'm not seeing that. Point. And if February gets to finish, we're not hearing much. It's just March. And then April is here. So it's rather not visible. Now, that's on one side. COVID testing for athletes, for contingent.
And all the other protocols.
Because even the states, now we're talking about federal government and Edo State. Mm-hmm. All other states that are to do their own bit are also crying, lack of money and all of that. To the budget, COVID-19 tests for one person cost about 50,400, approximately 51,000.
And you're supposed to do it randomly.
Maybe
3, 4.
Yes. So days. For each, maybe like Lagos State, I can have.
If you want to do it and today, do it well.
When I was checking athletes from Lagos State, I was seeing over 400. So if you're having 400 and you're going to about 51. So
I need to pause. You need to go on a break. I always knew the time wasn't going to be enough to unpack everything. But
it's scary to see.
I know. We need to go on a break. We're still on the matter, National Sports Festival. We spare thought for volleyball, spare thought for basketball as we move on. But first, we need to go on that break and return for more on Sports Tonight. Join us again. All right, this highlights you saw during the break, courtesy of the NPFL TV. And, of course, everybody getting a chance to see football on the domestic scene. And so, for our viewers in the United Kingdom, probably didn't get to see that, but all across the globe, I'm very sure you saw and those clips. It was a very beautiful advertisement for football on the domestic scene. All right, guys, let's move on. I still have Austin Okon-Akpan with me, and I want to go to Austin shortly. Let's talk about volleyball. I mean, there's a lot to talk about the sports festival. Time will not allow us. So I guess let's just put a pause on it for now. Let's see if there's space towards the end of the show. We'll come back to it. But let's just go on and talk about volleyball and just let our viewers know that the World Governing Body for Volleyball, as FIVB, and the Continental Federation have yielded to the request of the Nigerian Volleyball Federation on the new date to host the Under-18 Female Nations Cup in Abuja, Nigeria. According to information that we have, that we got late yesterday, the FIVB and the CAVB, that's the continental body, have approved the 1st and 9th of March 2021 for the hosting of the Under-18 Female Nations Cup by Nigeria. 6 countries, namely Cameroon, Central African Republic, Congo Democratic Republic, Egypt, Tunisia, and host, of course, Nigeria, have confirmed the preparation. And the level of the participating countries, of course, will come in batches. And so 1st and 2nd March, so we'll see how all of that pans out. I mean, it takes a lot to host a sporting events in these times that we're in. But it's a good one that we get a chance to organize a volleyball event. So, Austin, that's the news. How do you receive such news? You know, we're in a period where, I mean, continental bodies and global sporting associations are always ready to bend to the wishes of the host countries, because it takes a lot to be able to allow people into your country with all the unique situation that we find ourselves with COVID-19. But it's good that they have accepted Nigeria's wishes.
Yeah, it's good. Good for the development of the sport in Nigeria. Female volleyball has been doing so well in the last 2 years. Shout out to Engineer Nimrod and the volleyball team for all they've been doing. It was good at the time they were putting this bid. I'm not sure about now, Yemi, and the times. And with international bodies, they are also being careful, you know, before they even give you hosting rights, they get to do a lot of research now just to be sure that the country they are taking the competition to is not really struggling with COVID-19. So it's up to Nigeria to start putting finishing touches now on this bid to be sure that we can host. It's a good thing, you know, under 18 level is still developmental. So it will be good to see the progression that will take from there with female volleyball, 6 countries. And, you know, whenever we mention anything competition in Africa, when you have Egypt, you have Tunisia, you know, into the mixed countries that are putting so much into other sports, it's a good way for your athletes to compete. So March, not far away. So let's see. But definitely people coming into the country will be sure that they're coming to where it's safe. So I'm sure the governing body will review this request by Nigeria again, and we'll take a look at everything in place to ensure that when we have this competition, it is going to be done on safe grounds. But it's good for the development of volleyball, particularly female volleyball in Nigeria, because this will spark some interest. This is taking us beyond just competing. I've said it over and over again that if we get to compete more, it will give us some sense of responsibility on how to do things beyond just competing to win medals. So it's a good one for the sport.
All right, just to quickly add, like you said, Austin, the tournament is going to be used to decide who Africa's representative for the 2021 World Championship at the under-18 level. And those who are eligible are those who are born on the 1st of January 2004 downwards. So if you're not within that age range, don't just bother coming. So that's it. All right, with that out of the way, let's quickly talk basketball. And Idris, let me quickly come to you. Afrobasket Qualifiers, the roster has been unveiled. 12 players to be handled from Doka, you know, assisting Mike Brown, who's not going to be there with the boys. And we're going to quickly show you some of the names. But, you know, a lot of these guys will grab this opportunity, use it to impress. Because as we go towards the Olympics, there are 2 tiers. There are some guys in the NBA who like to represent, who are already representing Nigeria on one side. And there are some guys another side who have not decided whether it's going to be the United States.
Like the Bam Adebayos.
You know, so, I mean, like, for instance, the Amino brothers are not even on this.
Yes.
They're always eager and willing to represent. So these guys, but of course, you have some of the regulars, EKD, Ogu, and some of these guys.
Would always...
But I believe they do have, no disrespect to them, but I believe that they do have their work cut out, you know. I know they'll do well at the Afrobasket qualifiers, but they have their work cut out to make the final roster for the Olympics.
Yeah, it looks like that. But if you have that at the back of your mind, it might slow down your work. So you actually have it at the back of your mind that it is war we're going to face.
Just go out there,
because
play a game.
every other team, you know, are also preparing to be here. And shockers happen. One of the things you don't like about shockers is that when it happens to you, when it happens to a team else and you're sharing the news, is good lessons for you, and then you build from there. But if it happens to you, it's so sad. And for this team, this is the same thing we've seen under Alex Nwora, the former coach of the D Tigers. He rotated that team when it comes to the qualifiers. We saw about 3 teams taking on 3 different phases of the qualifiers, which at a time accommodated his son, Jordan Nwora. And as of the time Jordan Nwora joined the team, a whole lot of questions. Is it good enough? Is he riding on? Is it a case of bureaucracy? Nobody's asking that anymore. And all of until the boy played one game in the D Tigers jersey, and everybody said, no, you just must be in this team. You merit being there. Right. Yes, maybe the son, the dad had to use his influence to let me show the entire country that
what this guy is capable of.
And he did. And if we're seeing same thing happening now, then I'm not bothered. I'm not going to fidget or whatever, because I know we have about 3-4 teams on ground. Yeah. So for Afrobasket qualifiers, it is enough to bring some fringe team. Yes, there are still some core of the major team in this, just to stay up or help the new guys to, you know, greatness. So seeing some faces different, it's not a surprise. I believe they'll get the business done. Nigeria is going to benefit at
the end of the day when everybody start raising the level of their game. So
it is. They call it LD edict for the coach. Yeah. You push each other to greatness.
All right, so that's it for basketball. We leave it at that for now, and our best to the D Tigers when they go there to compete. All right, let's talk about something not too pleasant. We're receiving disturbing news about the health situation of a Green Eagles legend, because that's what it was at the time this man we're about to talk about was playing. He was nicknamed the Dean of Defense. Look about Yisa Shovolue on the show tonight, and as young as I am, I have fond memories of seeing him at Maroc 88, and he had been playing for the Super Eagles before that. And we thought we should draw attention to his situation. It's good to help our heroes, celebrate our heroes when they are around with us, and not wait till the situation goes the other way. And we also want to make an appeal to well-meaning Nigerians to see what they can do. Austin Okonakman also has more for us on that issue, the disturbing information that we've received about Yusuf Shofolu's health condition.
I know, Yemi, Yusuf Shofolue, the late great commentator of Nigeria, Ernest Okonkwo, nicknamed him the Minister of Defense, you know. And if you look at Yusuf Shofolue and his time in the Super Eagles, you can tell that he was one that had distinct features as a player. And he was a defender that, you know, brought a lot of good things to our national team football. It's just sad that he's in this situation, and we can only pray that he gets better. Wahid Akani played with him at some point. Wahid gave me a call, Austin. When Yisa was going to the hospital, they were saying that, that we've not told Nigerians about his condition. And I said, okay, we're praying for him at this time to get better. You've said it all. He's got some laurels in there for Nigeria. I think part of the silver winning team in the AFCON as FA Cup
1988, yeah.
And I remember when I met him in one of the competitions. I think it was the Channels International Kids Cup. It was right there at the campus square. And I said, he's so small. And then you stop being defender. I asked my teammates. They call me small but mighty. So Yusuf Shofolue, our prayers are with him and his family. I know this is a very difficult time because I hear he's in a very bad condition right there at Lutz. for an ex-international. He shouldn't, be going through that. So, as you said, we hope he gets out of it. We hope that some good persons can, also jump up at him, and then we'll get to see him back on his feet again.
All right, so that's it, Holyfield. It is important for us to put that out there for people to know, so that the labors, like we say, so that the labors of our heroes past will not go in vain. Let me allow you to say something. You probably read about him. I know you didn't get to see him. I know you didn't get to see him. But he's legend. He's a legend. And the name, the day I was privileged, I've been privileged to see him on a couple of occasions, and the same feeling Austin had when I saw him. Yeah, he looked a bit small in stature, but he did amazing things.
He did amazing things. UNITA has the likes of Stephen Keshi. They mentioned how they drew inspiration from the likes of
how he played.
Isasho Foluwe, the way he commanded his area. And if Stephen Keshi is telling you about somebody that he drew some, ideas, inspiration from, then he tells you how high, that person took his sports. Then there is a name that Austin Okun mentioned, and I've also, had that reservation for this person, Wahid Akoni. Wahid Akoni, over the years after retirement and all of that, has one thing that I love seeing that he does. Bringing ex-players to the limelight one way or the other. There would always be something.
Especially the story of their plight.
Yes. There was a time Nigerian stars in the 80s against African stars, and it helped all of us who were at the stage. There are so many players who were seeing them for the first time.
After many years.
After many years.
That's good.
So Wahid Akoni and, every other person in all of this, I say well done. And for Shofolue, wishing you the quickest of recoveries.
All right. I'm smiling. Okay, I'm trying to resist the temptation of some discussion we're having in the studio. I'm going to let Austin in on that discussion as well, and by extension, our viewers. A lot to take away from what Coach Genotro has said. And we're thinking right here in the studio, now that you have the opportunity to see them, you've praised their quality, you've talked about a lot of things. I hope we get to see more of them in the Super Eagles. All right, let me go to Austin quickly. Your takeaway from what Coach Genotro has said. I do agree with him in terms of the fact that the coverage has helped us, hiked, has spiked up the interest in football on the domestic scene. But a lot of people will also ask, you're talking about equality. I hope it's not just lip service. I don't know if you have that bias as well.
No, I don't. I've always thrown that question to Coach Genotro. Straight up, I ask him, is there quality in the NPFL? And he has always said there's quality in the NPFL, But there are other issues that follows it. It talks about infrastructure development. It talks about the quality of the coaching crew at the various clubs. Look, let me take you back. I think it was 2009 or 2010 when Coach Samson Siasia was coach of the Super Eagles. They were about to play, Sierra Leone. It was a friendly match in Lagos. And I asked him, I said, why is it that time we don't really have our home-based players on the team? And he said, Austin, look at me. And he's stressed it. This is the Super Eagles of Nigeria. To get into that team takes a lot. When the late coach Stephen Keshi, God bless his soul, when he took 7 home-based players to the AFCON in 2013, let's be sincere. How many Nigerians didn't raise concern? Let's be sincere.
Yeah,
but those players proved us wrong. A lot of people, nobody believed it, but check the players into Azubike, Kenneth Omero was in that team.
Austin, let me button.
Quality play.
Let me button quickly because it appears like I want you to. I asked the question pointedly, and I want you to answer pointedly. I said, now he's talking about quality in those players. Do you believe that he means it when he says it?
He's the one saying it, So yes, but I think he does. I think he does, and I also stand with the fact that the quality players in the NPFL. Come on, the other day I read out names for you in Rivers United. Quality everywhere. Festus Austin is as good as he is sitting on the bench in Rivers United. I go to Plateau United. I'm so in love with the defending
Okay.
The defensive play of Andrew Ikefe.
Austin,
So we
Austin,
have players.
yeah, I know,
We
I
have
know.
players. There's quality
You know how
in the
it is,
league,
Austin.
but
Austin.
it goes beyond football on the pitch.
I know. Let me body. You know how it is. We need to go on a break. Just hold on. We'll continue with this conversation. It never ends. Let's go on a break. We'll return. There will still be on a matter of things happening on the domestic scene. All right, so that's it. We're pressed for time anyway, but I'll allow Austin finish with his line of thoughts. It will be fair for me to do that so that it doesn't look as if I have a premeditated stance on all of the things. But let me allow you to finish up on things you were saying about what Coach Kenotro has said about the players on the domestics.
Yeah, so just to wrap it up, I said, when you see Coach Kenotro, you're going to get your sincerity. That's one. And then two, I admit there's so much quality. I'm an advocate of the league. I love the league, and I've always said it that the foundation is very important. And our league football is the foundation of football development in Nigeria. So we need to keep it. But he said something very good. He said, now the coach for the Chan Eagles has got a wider view of the players. Aside going to the stadium, he can also sit at home now and watch matches, after the games are done. When you go to the stadium and watch and you don't have highlights or where to fall back on most of those things. Yeah, I've been at the stadium covering matches. I just hear goal because I'm probably writing or I'm doing something. So if you can go back to it, it's better. And that's what this
has done for us.
Development, innovation we are enjoying with the MPFL TV has done for us. For instance, I've gone back to watch that in the Freke Young's goal like 10 times. I can talk about that goal in my sleep. That's the joy of having it on TV. So this is a very good one for league football.
All right, so that's it. Let's take a look at the table after match day 9. Let me hear Kennedy's thoughts about it, if he has any surprises. If there's anything that surprises you. But the table is going to come up in a minute because we're really pressed for time. We have to go to London. We have to go to United Kingdom about now. But any surprises?
No surprises. It's looking like this table, if you take a proper study of it.
Top 5, bottom 5, would you have called it at the start of the season?
Maybe I wouldn't have called it. But I knew something at the start of the season, that these are the type of season that if you don't pull your weight, you go down.
Yes.
If you don't outstand yourself, then you go home with nothing. And if you look at some of the big boys that we know in our football are rising to the occasion. Now, it seemed gradually was separating the boys from the men. Look at number 1, Enyimba, Rivers United. Maybe Kwara, not always so there, but playing good football at this time, so they should be in that mix. Kano Pillars, Rangers, Aqua United. You can see the lineup. At least the top 6 teams are playing good football at this time. Although if you go to the relegation zone, maybe there are 1 or 2 teams that you feel shouldn't be there, but if you're going by the 9 games they play, these 4 teams should be where they are without any form of bias.
Okay. All right. So we leave it at that on the domestic scene. It's very interesting these days. A lot of talking points and a lot of content because of the innovation. We have to give...
Content everywhere.
Yeah, we have to give the league management company credit for that and even makes our job on this part makes it easier. But let's quickly talk about the FA Cup. Match is currently going on. As a matter of fact, 1 match going on, 1 already concluded. Let's take a look at the results to tell you what is happening. Austin is there, so he knows what's going on. It's going to be his parting shot on the show tonight. Bournemouth, defeated Burnley, a tough one, 2-0. Junior Stanislas scored for Burnley, scored 1 of the goals for Burnley for Bournemouth. Yeah. Then the game, Manchester United and West Ham, true to form. This is what I expected, that in the early minutes there wouldn't be goals. United made a couple of changes, but it's still goalless. But they have a lot of ammunition on the bench, so we'll see what they do.
That could come out and do the job.
Bruno Fernandes is still on the bench. But Austin, let's come to you. It's going to be your parting shot because we're really pressed for time. 1 already concluded, 1 already going on. What are you seeing in the game that is going on, and your thoughts on the one that has already been played?
The one that has been played, no cap. That's why it's called the Upset Cup. The FA Cup brings this sort of results, all year, every year. So Bournemouth, stunning Burnley is one that will get us talking, because if you look at the run Burnley is having, for a team with that sort of run, they need to get every form of victory that they can get to keep their momentum going. And then AFC Bournemouth just came and then shut them out. It's the FA Cup for you, so no surprises for me. Manchester United needs to be careful. This is a sort of game that West Ham can just come, and then score a goal and then lock it up. United needs every win. I'm sure Ole will be saying, look, this is the cup that I can win, to get, confidence going, as his job at Manchester United. But so far, both sides being careful, creating chances, but not yet converting them. So it's still goalless. I expect Manchester United to go on to win this one. But if they don't come at me. It's the FA Cup. So anything can happen.
Oh, okay. That's a very smart way of doing that. Well, Austin, want to thank you for your time on the show tonight. It was nice doing this with you. We'll do this again some other time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yemi, for having me on the show. Let's do it again some other time. Thank you.
All right, so that's it. Our man, Austin Okonakpun, talking to us about the FA Cup and also cracking us up.
I always like the way Austin leaves a window.
Yeah.
There is always a window for him to escape through. So if there is anything you want to learn from Austin, aside his analysis, learn how to create a window for yourself to be an escape route.
So nobody can use your word against you.
Because I already left a window open.
All right, your thoughts? We're pressed to talk.
Yeah, I think Bournemouth, that's a huge win for them. And like Austin called it, all cups for me are upset cups. This is where the lower teams always feel they've got a hedge to rub shoulders with the big boys and also get something of them. For Burnley, it will be so sad. With the way with the run of games, I think they should have been, on paper, I felt it was going to be Burnley all the way. But Bournemouth, if you see the Bournemouth team, they still kept the core of their players.
Yeah, when they dropped down to the championship.
While they got relegated.
We have Samsori, Junior Stanislas.
Yeah,
we
still have Wilshere in that team.
Yeah.
So, maybe almost same of the same compared to Burnley. These are lower team, but it's so sad for Burnley to lose this. For the Manchester United against West Ham, if anything goes different than Manchester winning, it will be called a top upset. I don't care what West Ham and David Moyes are doing at this time. I feel, man, you have everything, to take it. But if it doesn't happen, I guess it will be bigger upset than Bournemouth beating Burnley. Okay,
so that's it. That's a wrap on the show. First, I want to thank you, Kehinde Idris.
It's lovely,
for your time and the hurdles you had to cross to be here.
Serious hurdles.
Okay, so that's it. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your day. We enjoyed doing this. We're back here again tomorrow for the abridged version of the show. Enjoy the rest of your day. We're back tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.